Okay, we can begin now. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. Thank you for joining. This is a paid search, the Tangled Web We Weave. Before we begin, I did want to introduce myself briefly. My name is Fernando Sardinas, and I'm currently a strategy manager here at PureCars. I've been in marketing for close to 10 years now and solely focused on the digital side of things in automotive for about 3 years. I'm originally from Miami, Florida, but now reside in Atlanta, Georgia. Yes, I do miss being by the water, and no, we do not all go to the beach as often as you may think. All right, so now general overview of what we'll be covering today. We'll be going over some key search metrics. We'll be defining them, touching on some common misconceptions, their impacting factors, and finally, what we do behind the scenes. For any and all questions that do get submitted during the webinar, we'll be answering those at the very end, so by all means, send them in. All right, so let's get started. Now, the three metrics we'll be attempting to untangle for you today are search impression share, average position, and quality score. First up, we have search impression share. To quickly define search impression share, it is the percent of impressions your ads receive compared to the total number of impressions they could get. The equation is simple. You divide the amount of impressions you actually received by the total number of impressions you could have received, and that'll give you the percentage. What we have on the right shows where to find this metric in order to add it as a column within the search network. Impression share factors. These are three metrics that work together and impact each other. As mentioned, search impression share is the impressions you've received on the search network divided by the estimated number of impressions you were eligible to receive. There are two other metrics that show a percentage of lost impressions, and they're split by budget and rank. Search lost impression share due to rank estimates how often your ad didn't show on the search network due to poor ad rank, whereas search lost impression share due to budget estimates how often your ad didn't show on the search network due to low budget. If you were to add up all three percentages, impression share due to rank, and impression share to budget, you would get 100%. And again, on the right-hand side, you'll see that you can add these as columns within search networks to have them readily available. So continuing with what exactly impacts impression share, three major factors are targeted area, budget, and ad position. Your targeted area determines how far and wide to attempt to show any and all of your ads. This usually consists of a mix between radii, full city, state names, or even as granular as zip codes. Your budget determines how often your ad can be shown within your targeted area. A higher budget can accommodate a larger targeted area. If you target a large area without the budget to support it, you would potentially be spreading yourself too thin and limiting the frequency of your ads. And lastly, ad position. Depending on which position your ad appears in, it could affect your chances of receiving an impression. For instance, if your ad lands in position 4 on a search that generates only 3 ads on the first page of results, your ad would be on the second page. This would be a lost impression if the person that conducted the search does not continue to the second page of results. Now for some common misconceptions. So the first one is that search impression share can be interpreted as share of voice. In reality, what it does is indicate performance in search auctions with the given keywords, bids, and targeted area. Another misconception is that a saturated, smaller target means no additional budget is necessary. In reality, a saturated, smaller target area allows for further expansion into your PMA with additional budget or an increase in the cost per click for an improved ad position. The last one is that a higher budget will always mean a higher impression share. In reality, while a higher budget can definitely improve impression share, that is not always the case. An increase in budget can also help with increasing cost per click and in turn your ad position. This could then lower your lost impression share due to rank, increase the loss due to budget, but keep your actual impression share steady. All right, now for average position, the next metric. So what is average position? This is the order in which your ad shows on a search page. For example, an ad position of 1 means that your ad has the highest position on the page relative to the other ads of the same type. It does not necessarily mean that your ad is above the search results. If there are no ads above the search results, then it means that your ad is the first ad shown beneath the search results. Some common misconceptions for average position are the number one, the higher the position, the better. Number two, if you're not in the top three, you don't exist. And number three, my competitors are ranked higher than me. We need their magic. We'll start off with the first one. The higher the position, the better. This is the most common misconception of them all, and it's the belief that the higher your average position, the better your account is performing. Not only is this completely missing the point when it comes to choosing proper KPIs, but the average position metric can be misleading and, more importantly, distracting. To prove this, we actually extracted some data from one of our own clients. As you can see in the below screenshot, both the cost per conversion and conversion rate improved quite considerably when the average position dropped. The second misconception, you don't exist outside of top three. There are benefits to being in the top positions. For one, you appear before the organic listings and above the page fold, meaning you'll definitely have more eyes on your ad. Two, the likelihood of your ad extensions appearing with your ad are greatly increased. And three, your ad can appear longer and probably won't be as truncated. Even though those benefits sound very attractive, it is all about KPIs. In the screenshot below, you can actually see that when our average position dropped below the top four positions, cost per conversion actually decreased and conversion rate increased. And the other one is when you need your competitor's magic, when you need to mimic higher ranking competitors. Just because a competitor outranks you in position for one keyword doesn't mean that's the case across the board. It's much more important to have a firm grip on your own KPI goals and to know what your plan of attack is to achieve them. The best way to be more successful than anybody else is to get as many more sales as them, not just compete against them. And three of the factors that impact average position are the maximum bid, the context of a person's search, and the quality score. The maximum bid is the maximum amount that you're willing to pay for any given click, and that goes into the calculation of where your average position will be. The context of a person's search ranges from where they're located, the device they're using, the time of day that they're searching, and obviously what they're searching for. Quality score is comprised of ad relevance, expected click-through rate, and landing page experience. And we're going to touch on that next. So quality score. So what is quality score? Quality score is an estimate of how relevant your ads, keywords, and landing pages are to a person who sees your ad. Higher quality scores typically lead to lower costs and better ad positions. The graph that you see to the right, it's a representation of each factor that plays into quality score. The weighted percentages that you see, they do constantly change. It is not something that we have a firm grasp on, so keep that in mind. And as I was saying, the factors impacting quality score. Ad relevance, well, let's start with expected click-through rate. It measures how likely it is that your ads will get clicked when shown for specific keywords. The ad relevance measures how closely your ads relate to specific keywords in different ad groups and campaigns. And landing page experience. It describes whether your landing page is likely to provide a good experience to customers who click your ad and land on your website. And then lastly, what we do. So here at PureCars, we monitor, optimize, test, and improve. And this isn't just for the three metrics that I went over. This is for everything that has to do when it comes to search. When it comes to the three metrics I did go over, we monitor your impression share, we monitor your average position, and we monitor your quality score. Anything that we see that might need to be optimized, we do it as soon as we see that the optimization is necessary. We test out new ways for your quality score to improve, and once those tests are successful, we improve upon them by implementing the changes. Everything is done behind the scenes, and we're constantly doing all four of these every single day. All right, and that's pretty much it. So any questions that have come through, I'll be answering them now. Let's see, 1 second. So I do have one question. It says, how do we know how many impressions we could have received? Okay, so this person is referring to the number of eligible impressions and the calculation that goes into your search impression share. So the way that you can calculate how many eligible impressions you could have received is pretty much by getting all the impressions you received, dividing that by your search impression share, and that gives you the total number of qualified impressions. So it's just dividing your number of impressions by the actual search impression share for whichever time period you're looking at. Once you do that, the final number will be the total number of eligible or qualified impressions you could have received. Next question is, how can I take these tips and use them with my PPC vendor reporting? Sure. So if you look at these metrics and you add them as columns in whichever search network you're using, whether it be AdWords or Bing, keep in mind everything we went over today and their priorities, and always keep in mind your KPI goals. Not every single metric applies to every single client. So just keep in mind what your KPI goals are and adjust accordingly depending on that. Next question is, what is the best way to improve quality score? So in order to improve quality score, you would need to look at each of the three factors for quality score. Again, it was expected click-through rate, ad relevance, and landing page experience. The best way is to look at the three of them and see what score you're getting for each one, whether it be below average, average, or above average. For expected click-through rates, you would create compelling ad copy where you would get engagement from anybody searching for the keywords you're bidding on. For ad relevance, you just make sure that the keywords you're bidding on, they fall in line with what the ad copy has. And landing page experience is just ensuring that your site speed is up to par with the industry, that it is relevant to the search as well, and that's pretty much it. As long as you take care of those three in those manners, your quality score should increase time over time. And the question is, how can Google calculate expected click-through rate for my campaigns? So Google will see historical data on your campaigns and will always take into consideration anything new that might be implemented for the expected click-through rates. It's not something that we have an entire answer on. Google seems to do this on their own, but we've been told that any new changes to any kind of campaign, they do get taken into consideration when creating a new expected click-through rate. All right. Another question is, can I improve ad rank by just spending more money, or is there another way? So no. So ad rank is not improved just by spending more money. Ad rank is improved by your quality score as well. So when an ad gets generated, it goes through an auction, and your quality score is one of the factors that go into where your ad's going to show. So if you spend more money, that just goes into the data for the auction. The ad rank is purely based on your quality score. All right. Just give another few seconds, see if there are any more questions. Oh, we got one more. Are there any other factors I should keep up with when looking at my agency's reporting on PPC? Definitely. There are so many factors, but again, that does that is dependent on what your goals are. So if your goals are to get more conversions, then conversions would need to be something that you include in the reporting and see how any other changes on any other metric is affecting your conversion rate. So yes, there are many other factors, but it does depend on what your goals are. All right. Well, I think that's it. I did want to thank you all for joining this webinar, although it seems like it was a short one. Hopefully you found it to be a valuable one. And be on the lookout for any of our future webinars. If you enjoyed this one, you'll definitely enjoy the next few ones. Next one is next month. So be on the lookout for those invites, and we'll see you then. Thank you.